Assalamu alaikum students, how are you? I hope you are doing great. Students, today I am going to teach you a lesson from your English textbook. This is the first lesson of your book. The name of the lesson is Holding Up the Sky. This lesson is about the story of Hercules. Before starting the story, I would like to tell you about the background of Hercules. Hercules was a great hero, and he was said to be the son of the king of all the gods. He was the hero of 100 adventures. How he looked and what was his attire. He was the tallest and strongest man on the earth. Students, he always carried a club on his shoulders and a bow in his hand. Instead of armor, he wore a lion skin, and instead of helmet, he pulled the lion's head over his own head. You can see the get-up of Hercules in this slide. Let's get started with the story. Once upon a time, there was a king who was served by Hercules. The king was afraid of him. Students, you must be surprised. The king was afraid of him. Yeah, because Hercules was too bold and strong person. He did many difficult tasks in very easy way. That's why the king was afraid of him, and he never let him come into the palace and sent him to perform difficult tasks again and again. These tasks were named as difficult errands, and these errands are called labor of Hercules. Hercules had 12 labors. You can see these labors in this slide. And this adventurous story is one of them. Once the king asked Hercules to fetch 3 golden apples. Hercules asked, "From where I fetch these apples?" King said, "From the garden of singing maidens." Singing maidens are young girls who dance and sing around the apples. And that garden was guarded by a dragon. Hercules asked, "Where is the garden?" King said, "I don't know, and no one knows about this garden." So the Hercules agreed and walked all day and all night in search of the garden of golden apples. He walked for days and for months, and whenever he met anyone, he asked about the singing maiden gardens. But no one had given the answer of his question. Finally, one morning, he saw a mountain, and there was a giant man. That man held enormous arms and shoulders. Hercules exclaimed, "Atlas!" Atlas asked, "Who are you?" He introduced himself, that he was Hercules and the hero of 100 adventures. Then Hercules asked him for help. The Hercules said to the Atlas, "The king ordered him to fetch 3 golden apples." Atlas replied, "I have been holding this sky for 100 of years, and my shoulders and arms all are aching. You are the tallest and the strongest person. Shoulder the sky for me, and I fetch the apples for you." Hercules said to the Atlas, In this garden there is also a dragon." Atlas further said that the singing maidens are my friend, so dragon will not harm me. Hercules agreed with him and climbed the mountains to shoulder the sky. Atlas went to the garden. After long wait, Hercules saw Atlas came back with 3 golden apples. So Hercules, pleased to see him, and thanked him But Atlas said to him, "You can now go on holding up the sky, and I will take the apples to the king." Hercules was afraid and thought of tricking him. Hercules requested Atlas to hold the sky for a minute, only for a minute, because my shoulder is aching and hurting already. Atlas was simple, so simple, so he believed him, and he threw down the apples and held up the sky. Hercules snatched the apples and ran. Hercules said, "Goodbye, it is my labor to fetch the apples and yours to hold up the sky." After that, the Hercules reached the palace of the king. The king wasn't pleased to see him. He was surprised to see him and the golden apple. He never expected Hercules to find the singing maidens. The king got terrified when he heard the Hercules actually held up the sky. The king gave the apples to the Hercules and shut himself up in his palace. Hercules won the golden apples. This was his greatest adventure because he shouldered the sky. Okay, students, I hope you enjoyed this story. Now, vocabulary meaning. You have to copy down this vocabulary meaning in your text copy. Now, textual exercises. Look at page number 3, exercise B, match the column. You have to draw 2 columns and match the words from column A to column B. Exercise C, true or false. There are few statements. You have to learn these statements carefully and mark. If statement is true, you have to mark true, and false, you have to mark false. You will solve these exercises in your text copy. Grammar exercises. Students, look at page number 4, exercise A. Enlist countable and uncountable noun. Use them in sentences. You have to separate the countable and uncountable nouns, then use in your sentences. Look at page number 5, exercise B. Add countable and uncountable nouns in the sentences. There is a spaces in the sentences, and students, you have to fill these spaces with the help of countable and uncountable noun. Now exercise C. It is related from the article. Add a, an, and the where necessary. Look at page number 6, exercise A, suffixes. Change the words into nouns using URE. Exercise B, use the suffixes shape, ness, and ity. I hope students you understood these exercises as well and complete these exercises at home. Thank you.